Hi guys, and welcome to the Ace Tanker for the AT-15A, the Tier 7 British Premium TD. This is my most recent tank. This is the final premium tank for my collection, I'm happy to say. I completed the Super Pershing mission, got the gold from the Super Pershing mission and used it to buy an AT-15A. This was a tank I haven't heard too many positive things about, but I love my AT-15, the Tier 8 British TD, and I was just wondering just how bad the AT-15A could be, and a couple of things really surprised me. I can't really do a side-by-side comparison here, but the AT-15A is actually a smaller tank than the AT-15. It's a much smaller target. It gets the same frontal armor, it gets the same engine, it's got the same speed, same acceleration, it's got the same gun traverse, it's got I think off the top of my head, the same hull traverse. Pretty much the only two major differences I've noticed between the AT-15A and the AT-15, which as I say is a tank I absolutely love, is the fact the AT-15A gets almost half the hit points. AT-15 is, I believe it's got about 1400 hit points, and the AT-15A only has 850 hit points. So I keep forgetting that. That's one of the problems I've been trying to overcome, is remembering that this isn't an AT-15A or AT-15. I don't have the hit point pool. I can't take as many hits as I could in the AT-15. The other major difference I've been trying to conquer is that the gun on the AT-15A is basically the TOG gun. It's got pretty poor alpha damage at 150 and only 171 penetration with the standard AP, 239 penetration, which is very good with the APCR, but still you've got that 150 alpha damage. Also, it's got a slower rate of fire than the 20-pounder on the AT-15. So the 17-pounder on the AT-15A isn't bad, but it's not great, and as I say, the biggest problem I've been having in the AT-15A is remembering that it's not an AT-15. So I try and do things in this tank I'd get away with in an AT-15, but I don't get away with in the AT-15A because I don't have the hit points or I don't have the DPM. But anyway, we are here on Himmelsdorf, and this was a game played on stream. I'm platooned with Hellas Soldier, who is one of the viewers and wanted to platoon, and I do that quite regularly. If someone wants to platoon and they're a regular, then I have no issues. If I'm in the mood for platooning, I will, and if I'm not, I won't. But I decided to platoon, and we got into this 61%er, as I say, on Himmelsdorf, so we need to be quite aggressive. It's a good win percentage chance. I want to be aggressive, and I'm going to play the AT-15A much like I play the AT-15 because I'm top tier and the hit points don't matter as much. So here we go.
Move out.
So being an AT-15A, I'm quite slow, and I figure that right away that I'm going to travel up the 8 line. I prefer to call it the 8 line than the banana. While I'm happy to see that quite a lot of our tanks are going hill. In fact, most of our team are going hill. So, fairly decent split. And I tend to play, if you've been watching my stream, you'll notice that I tend to play the AT-15 much like a heavy tank. I like to be on the front line, I like to be trading shots. And a lot of enemy tanks underestimate the DPM. And because I'm top tier, that's what I'm planning to do in this game. So we're advancing up the 8 line, and we run into a Stir Meal. And I've switched to HE ammo. Just got the corner of his tank. And I do 0 damage on his gun mantlet. And then I do a whole 8 damage, so that's me. That's me out of premium ammo, or HE ammo. So yeah, that was rather disappointing. So go for a shot and take him out. So the DPM is definitely not good on this tank compared to the AT-15, but It's not bad. It's actually quite good. And again, it's a tank that a lot of people underestimate. This is a Tiger in the distance, and I waft that one a little bit high. In fact, there were two Tigers down here. So I get a shot on the move, and this guy pens me. And I'm not quite sure how, but VK around the corner. Finish him off for kill number 2. A little bit of a kill steal, but actually it was a kill secure. So there are still two Tigers down here. Why they're down here, I don't know. They should have been on the hill as top tier heavies, but I'm not going to complain too much. I'm still kind of surprised one of the Tigers was able to pen me. So we come around the corner, and I'm dealing with this Tiger, and I'm keeping an eye on the minimap. I noticed that the other Tiger is was heading back towards their spawn, so I sit there and just continue to pump shots into this Tiger. And unfortunately, I don't notice the other Tiger has reappeared, and he gets a shot into my side. So I'm hiding my weak commander's cupola, and I'm coming around this corner at an angle, and somehow he manages to pen me again. So really, really surprised these shots are actually penning me. He's using regular AP, and I'm trying to see where he's actually hitting me. And I still can't really see where he's actually penning me. Oh, there he is. Just on the edge of my upper glacis. So, unfortunately, a VK-3001P takes out Halas Soldier from the hill. I notice the other Tiger is approaching me on the minimap. So, I move, and I'm going to ambush him. So he's come around the corner, and he's at the end of my gun arc. So, I'm angled, trying to track him, and I pull back, trying to get a place where I can pen him. There we go. And I don't think he can hit me. Yeah, he hit me. He tracked me. And that shot goes through where he was, so he must have repaired. He must have used a repair kit. He's advancing. Gonna try and track him. So he's just tracked me again. I'm waiting for him to advance, but he's just sitting here, keeping me tracked. So I pull back. Decide to track him. And don't get the track. So low alpha damage. Swing around. Bounce on his side, unfortunately. But he's mine. So the rate of fire is not AT-15. The alpha damage is not AT-15. But you can still have pretty good games in this tank. As I say, a little bit like the recent Panther M10 review, this is a premium tank I didn't hear very many good things about, but now that I've actually got it and I'm actually driving it, it's not as bad as people say. And I think it's rather unfair to compare this tank against the AT-15, because the AT-15 is a whole tier higher. But for its tier, I think it's a pretty good tank. If you can get it into top tier games like this one, you can do a heck of a lot of damage. So it's 12-11. I've done over 2k damage, 3 kills, 3 enemy tanks left. And I'm not silly enough. There are 3 tanks here, and I'm not going to advance around that corner without backup. So I'm waiting for the KV-1S and the Tiger 1 to advance. If I try to take on 3 enemy tanks by myself, no matter how good the armor on the AT-15A is, although it hasn't been working in this game, but they're going to kill me. So I'm waiting. I wait for the KV-1S. The enemy tanks should be distracted. I've got the rear of a KV-220, take him out. Now I've got the rear of a KV-1. And then the SU-100 turns around the corner. I turn, face him, he bounces. And now he looks as if he's aiming at my commander's cupola, so I'm moving back and forward to prevent a shot. He doesn't fire. I get 3 shots into him for kill number 5. Unfortunately, I missed out on the kill on the KV-1, but there we go. So that was the Ace Tanker for the AT-15A, another tank I've only played a handful of games in. It's the newest tank in my garage, but we picked up the Ace Tanker and high caliber. The tank definitely is better than I was expecting. 1290 XP for that particular game, 5 kills, 2,922 damage. I fired 29 shots, 26 hits, 22 penetrations, so the gun is a little bit of a letdown having played the AT-15, but it's still not a bad gun. Even though a lot of the shots that were aimed at me actually penned and did damage, I still managed to bounce 4 and take a couple of shots that didn't do any damage. In fact, the only 3 damaging shots that went in were from the Tiger, and I'm kind of a little bit surprised they went in and did damage where they actually hit, which was just basically on my thickest armor. He was able to penetrate, so a little bit surprised. But I still managed to block 1360 damage with my armor. I spotted 1, damaged 7, destroyed 5, and did 349 assistance damage. And it's a pretty good money earner. I didn't die in that game, but I lost most of my hit points. But it's still, the repair costs were fairly cheap. The ammo costs were very, very cheap considering I fired 29 shots. I earned almost 74,000 credits for that game. So the AT-15A is a decent money maker, but I think the biggest problem with the tank is that it needs to be top tier. If it gets into a higher tier game, then the AT-15A is a little bit lacking, but at top tier this thing can be a monster. I earned 1935 XP with a premium account times 2, which left me on 3,870 XP. So another new purchase, and I think the AT-15A is pretty underrated. I do think it's a lot better than what I've been reading about it. But as I say, its biggest problem is it's not an AT-15. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.